So hey folks, Assalamu alaikum. In this video we're just going to learn about the IAM policies, how we upon them, basically especially about the policies, how it looks as a whole, okay? And we're going to use access keys. I believe we have seen that earlier when we were basically working with the users. You have seen that the access key, there was something written in access key. So basically those are used in CLI and SDK. Okay, so now let's talk about this one. So here you can see IAM policies. So IAM policies, which IAM is identity and access management. So you can actually assign policies to user group. Here you can see this is a group. Okay, this group has 3 members and you can assign some rules to this user group. Okay, so for example, you want the whole team, that this is a developer team or development team, whatever you call it. So you want this developer team to basically work with development tools, okay, something like that. So you have just assigned some rules which is related to the development tools. Okay, again you have another person who is a DevOps guy here. So you only one person. Okay, so you can assign DevOps tools to this guy, okay, alone. There's no problem with that. So this is how you can do that, and we have mentioned that earlier in the first video. Now let's talk about the second one. Okay, now let's talk about this policy structure. So interestingly, in our first video, what we were basically talking about was that the user dev1, I did assign Alexa, some sort of Alexa policy to that developer one. Okay, this time, for example, just I have randomly picked a policy which is Alexa for business read-only access. Okay, and we will just see okay, how this policy is structured as a whole. You can see this policy in general has version, obviously, then it can have ID, which is optional. You may see that for some policies I've chosen a very simple policy. It is a JSON file format, so that you understand it very properly. Okay, now then it has generally has a statement. Okay, a statement in general carries multiple basically statement IDs. In general it's optional though, and then it has an effect, principle, action, resource, condition. So we'll understand what they are. Let's just start looking into here. Here you can see into the version, you can see 201 to 1017. This is basically policy language version. Okay, and this in general starts with 2012-10, something like that. Okay, and you'll see that in most of the policies. Then ID is optional. Statement, you can see the statement is 1 only. Okay, no problem. This statement has, you can see SID. In general, SID is sometimes optional, and we'll try to create a policy. We'll see if the SID is generated or not. We'll see that. But effect is very important. So what are these effects as a whole? Effect means that you want a service or a rule to be applied or denied. For example, for the developer team, the whole developer team, you want the developer team not to access DevOps tools. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so you can just mention that these are the tools and I want a deny access to these tools for the developer team. Okay, you can do that, but you can also do the opposite one. You can just mention the development tools and mention you want these policies or these permissions to be allowed. Okay, something like that. Okay, so here you can see effect is allow. Okay, that means you want something to be allowed. Now we don't know what to be allowed. Now principles, a principle which is here is missing, which is rules applied to account, user, or role. In general, when we customizedly create a policy, then you will see that this principle is added as a whole. Okay, but this time this is a policy created by AWS, so there is nothing or no one mentioned as a whole. Then you can see action. Okay, what this action means is it's basically lists down the basically all of the API calls. Okay, now interestingly, you can see A for B get. What does it mean? It means Alexa for business get whatever the get request. If you are familiar with API, get request, pull request, and there are a lot of things, right? So the thing is, for these requests, these are the lots of API requests already created in AWS, so you can just choose any. So we are just saying we can like Alexa for business get request, list request, or search request, anything, and you can see get start. That means anything starting with get, and like there is assume that there is an API call called A for B colon get list of this is something. Star means get is there, no problem. After the star, anything can happen, any other word can appear, there's no problem. We're just happy if only these few portions are there and others we're not worried about it. That means there might be thousands of get requests, different get requests, there's no problem, like get Alexa accounts, get user account, get something, okay, but it has to start with A for B colon get, okay, something like that. This is how you can understand this concept. Okay, so these are the API calls you can ask for. Okay, then it says resource. It can have star means in the resource you can particularly mention if you're looking or if you want the developer or user or whatever to access particular folder or particular file or everything. Okay, so this resource means everything. Okay, from the whole AWS account you can just get access to this API calls. Okay, condition can be applied as well, but it's not there. Okay, great. Now we'll just move to the next one, how users can get access to AWS. Okay, just for the basic stuff, so we'll just learn about it, and we'll go towards our lab execution. Okay, so as mentioned, we can use access keys, right? So AWS has CLI, command line interface. AWS has SDK, software development kit, so we can use the access key for them. And also for in general, we can use AWS through AWS management console, which we already logged in earlier, the whole website. Okay, now AWS access keys are basically very much something you need to keep as a secret. Okay, so the access keys I'm going to generate today for a user. I'm going to delete that later on, obviously before publishing the videos. Okay, so this is something you should keep very much as a secret, because yeah, if someone get access to that access keys, they can access your AWS account from anywhere. So talking about CLI or software development kit, we'll use CLI. Okay, so in general, I believe if you are into development or whatever it is, you might have heard about CLI. So obviously we can get access to AWS from the website or the management console, you can say, but you can also get access to AWS services from your command line interface, which AWS has. Actually, AWS has their own CLI, so you can just download that, and then you just have to configure that using this access key. Okay, we'll see that. And then in the CLI, you can just ask for the services. Okay, you just don't need to go to the AWS website or management console and ask for anything or do anything. You can just write them down in the CLI. So yeah, this is something that best practices as a whole, like the Linux based development and so on. Okay, so this CLI can be installed in Mac, Linux, or Windows. So we'll just do that in Windows for this video. Okay, so yeah, let's start then with the lab part. Now we are here basically into our two IAM accounts. So here you can see admin ID, which I mentioned, admin ID or admin user, which I created, which you should also create, and give proper admin access and administrator access, whatever it is, everything. So you can only use this account. Your root account should not be used. Okay, then you can within the admin ID, as this admin ID has all of the permissions as same as the root account or root user or the main user, they can easily create multiple users or rules, set the rules, no problem. So earlier what we did was we created, we already had admin ID, and we created this dev1 user. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to look for the permissions as a whole. Okay, so we'll see how we can appoint permissions to the to this dev, and what permission this dev1 has so far. So if you just go for these users and go for dev1, okay, you can see this dev1, that means this user has Alexa for business read only access. Okay, and this user got this permission via a group called Alexa. So if you just go for this, sorry, my bad, you go for the user groups, you can see there is a group which we created in the video, the Alexa group, and this Alexa group actually had this permission. You can see this permission is there, right? So basically what we did was we were trying to basically create a create an user basically, and while doing that we created a user group and appointed some permission to the user group. So, and then we also say this user group has this person. So as a whole, the whole user group, Alexa group, had this permission. Okay, and within that group we said this dev1 is there. So this dev1 user actually got this permission as well. Okay, no problem with that. Now interestingly, so if you just go for dev1, you can see it just has this permission from the user group, but it can have its own permission as well other than the group. So let's just do that. Add a permission, no problem with that. Add it, user to group. No, attach policy directly. So I just want to do like maybe administrator access. I just want this user to give the administrator access, maybe just want that. No problem with that. Next, add permission, done. Now here you can see these were red so far, right? Because it didn't have this person or this user didn't have any kind of permission to access these kind of things. But if I reload this, you can see now that okay, it can now have access to these. Are not red anymore because these dev1 user has access to most of the things, as he is now an admin. Okay, this is cool, right? But interestingly, you can see from the type that administrator access is basically AWS managed job function, but this is AWS managed. That means both are from AWS. Okay, no problem. And now if you just go for permission again, you can see that this permission was appointed directly to the user, and this permission was appointed using the user group. Okay, great. Now let's go and create another group, which is okay. So let's get the group using this one, maximum to use alphanumeric and characters. Okay, let's give it a name which should be maybe okay, developers. Let's see, and let's add dev1, this IAM user, and let's give him a permission for I think, let's see, dev, not developer, DevOps tools, IoT device. Let's see, developers. Let's give it a, we'll see. If you press this one, I've created the user group. Now you see this user group has a permission to access what. If you just look for this one, you can see okay, we are not bothered about who we have. This user group has a permission of AWS IoT device defender audit. Okay, this permission is provided to this group, and within this group we have attached this user. Okay, so as a whole you can now understand that this user, if you just go for the users and go for this dev1, you can see we have 3 permission for this individual user, IAM user. What you can see that this user has been appointed administrator access directly, not via any group. Okay, that means I have manually added that, then, or the admin has added that, then the Alexa for business read-only access has been provided through group. That means this group Alexa has this permission, and as this dev1 is part of this group, that's why this dev1 has this permission, no problem. Now talking about developers IoT, this group also has the permission of this, and this group has only this member, or whoever the members are, they all will get this permission. So that's how this person or this user, dev1 user, which you can see, we are currently from in admin ID. Okay, we are giving permission to this dev1 IAM user. Okay, so now this dev1 IAM user has the permission as an admin and Alexa for business and IoT. Okay, now if you come up here, basically this we have logged into incognito using this dev1. Okay, so as I mentioned, obviously this person has this administrator access, that's why I can access this one. And if I just try to like want to remove this one, okay, remove this one, okay, removed, right? Now if I just log in, you will see that it will take a bit of time. Yeah, you can see access denied, access denied. We can know, this dev1 can't know these kind of things. Obviously the admin is aware of all of the calls and lots of access. Okay, okay, for just testing, let me just add this administrator access for this. No problem with that, we can do that. Okay, great. Add permission. Great. Now if you go for the users, you will see, okay, no problem, we have 3. Okay, now we have also talked about in our earlier videos, I did mention, basically if you go for IAM, mention about MFA. Okay, so if we just go for here, and if we just look for IAM, okay, do we have the permission as an admin? Obviously we have the permission, no problem, we can access, we can check this one, add MFA for yourself. That means this dev1 hasn't actually, or I haven't, as a dev1 user, I haven't actually enabled this MFA, multi-factor authentication, which can do. Obviously I can add this one, and I believe if you have used lots of tools like Facebook, social and others, you already have enabled your multi-factor authentication, so we can do that. It's much more, it's something you should actually enable. Okay, no problem with that. Okay, now as obviously admin ID and dev1 both have actually the administrator access. Okay, so we are now not that much bothered about like other stuffs, because as a developer one, we have lots of access. Now let's work for the another stuffs. Okay, now what I am looking for, user dev1 doesn't have any active. Okay, no problem with that. Users, we just look for the users, dev1. Okay, now now you can see that the interesting point is that this developer one IAM user, which I am actually logged in as a developer IAM user, and I can actually appoint myself multiple policies now, because I'm the admin, I have the admin permission. Okay, I hope you got it. But also for this user, I can now create an access key. What is this access key? I didn't mention that using the access key, what we can do is we can log into AWS CLI, which is another benefit. Like we don't need to come into this website and then look for any other thing or do anything. We can just do it from the CLI command line interface or SDK, software development kit. So what we can do is we can just look for AWS CLI install, no problem. Okay, some verification to be done. Let's just do it, right? Okay, so yeah, we have just gone through the verification, obviously. Now great. Now if you just come up here, you will see that we have multiple options to install from Windows or any other thing, let's just do it from Windows. You can just obviously press this one or use this in the command line. Okay, let's just do it. Once it is done, to confirm that, we can just go to our command prompt and then ask using this command. Okay, I'll say okay, we finished with the CLI. Now let's just go for the command line. Open using the command. Okay, 2.33.4, that's good, I believe. 2.7, so yeah, we have just installed the updated AWS CLI. So perfect, so we have just done that. That's good. Now what are we going to do? Now we're just going to actually access our dev1 profile, like obviously this user account. Obviously we are going to access that using the access key. Okay, and this is basically we just try to verify if AWS CLI has been installed. That's good, perfect. Now we'll see, like we will use the AWS CLI, use the access key to get access to this dev1 profile. Okay, so let's just start with it. Okay, so first of all, to obviously access the account, obviously dev1 user profile, let's create the access key. So we have to just press this one. You can see I am basically within this dev1 IAM user. Now within that I also have the access as an admin. Okay, obviously you can see I have the admin access. So I'm just talking with this perspective. Just forget about we have another IAM user. Let's just forget that. So let's create this one. So we can create that obviously as because we have the access as an admin. But in case I didn't have this permission as an admin, I might not have done that. Obviously I need this permission. So okay, so what I want is I want this for CLI. Great, no problem with that. So I understand the above recommendation. So in general, rather than using the CLI, you can use CloudShell. Okay, we'll see that. But yeah, let's start. Description tag value. So demo. Okay, let's give that. Okay, that's our access key, and that is very important. And by the time you are watching this, this will be totally deleted. Okay, so yeah, you can just use that. Now you see, okay, this is access key and this is secret access key. Now the question might appear is how we are going to or where we need to paste this one. So let's just go for command prompt. That's enough, right? Let's go for the command prompt, and we need to write one thing, that is AWS configure. Okay, great. Now it's asking for AWS access key ID, which is this one. So I'm just going to go for here, done. For this one, I'm just going to copy this one, done. Default region name. So okay, I can choose any region, like US East 1 can be one. Copy. Default output format, there's no specific output format like JSON or other I want. Okay, so let's just press enter. Done. Great. So we've done a great work. So far we have configured this AWS account basically. Now using the CLI at this moment, this is connected basically. So yeah, we can ask for some interesting things. Okay, so okay, now let's try to look for the users we have in IAM. Okay. Okay, there is a mistake from our end, right? Okay, so let's IAM list users. Okay, let's see, it's working, right? So why is working? Now this is the interesting part. Okay, now we have to understand that we are using this dev1 IAM user, right? So as a whole, this IAM user basically, or obviously I'm also using that. Obviously I'm using that, assuming that I'm this person who has this account. Okay, I'm asking for the list of users we have in IAM. Okay, let's go and verify IAM. If you go for IAM and go for the users, we have two accounts, right? So if you just look into here, you can see we have users. There are two. One is admin ID and created when ARN and so on. There are a lot of things, and there is another which is called dev1. Great. So this is what we can do. Now why are we able to do this? Because now you have to understand some interesting factors which many people miss out. Okay, if you go for the dev1, because this is the account, right? I have. If you look into the permissions, you can see we have administrator permission, no problem. Where Alexa for business permission, business read-only access, okay. AWS IoT device defender audit, okay. Interestingly, is there anything that's related to IAM? That's a question to you. Is there anything that's related to IAM? Yes, that is. This is related to Alexa, this is related to AWS IoT, but administrator actually has all of the access to every other tool, right? Administrator is basically the boss, right? That is the reason, as this dev1 user has the access to administrator or has been given this policy permission, that is why using this dev1 profile I can get access to IAM list and so on. Interestingly, let's just do one interesting thing. That is, assume that from the admin ID, okay, that's admin ID. Let me just do it. This is the admin ID. From this admin ID, let's go for the users, and obviously both actually has this administrator access. But from administrator, admin ID also has this one, because if you go for admin ID, you can see here, administrator access, and the lot of other access that has been provided. Okay, let's go for this tab one. Okay, let's just remove this one. Okay, no problem. Now if you want to verify here in dev1, let's see, access denied to IAM list user policies. Okay, interestingly, now interestingly, this has been said, right? IAM user, because AWS CLI has asked for this IAM user list from this account, and you can see that it has detected that, okay, from now on you won't be able to see the IAM user list, because now if you go for the users, you can see you can't see it. That's interesting, because now this dev1 profile, basically, if we we can't even check the users list or how many users we have. We can't even check that. What can we do? You can see this dev1 can actually access to Alexa for business something and AWS IoT device only. So it cannot do any other thing. That is why if we want to manually even try to check if there are how many users here manually, you can't do it. And we can also verify that from this CLI, because this CLI has been connected to dev1 profile, obviously, right? So if we just write the same command, which is AWS IAM list users, great. You can see access denied. That's it. So we have successfully seen how we can actually connect the same IAM user with the CLI. Now, most of the developers who are working in Linux or any other thing, they mostly use the command line, CLI and others, right? So yeah, that's very much helpful to, like, especially connecting that with CLI and using tools like Terraform and others. It makes much more sense then. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, another thing which we mentioned about was CloudShell, right? So yeah, for the dev1, this was the access, great. Okay, great. So we are here in the in this dev1 user. So there's an interesting thing, that is we need to learn in which regions we have this CloudShell available. So AWS CloudShell is not available in every region. That is what we did mention, right? Services are region based. So AWS CloudShell availability. Okay, regions for AWS CloudShell. That's great. You can see within these regions we have this availability. So yeah, here you can see we're currently in North Virginia. Yes, it's available. Yeah, here we can, or we can change our region, obviously, and any other supported one. So we are currently in North Virginia. That's good. Now we're just going to look for AWS CloudShell. Let's go for that. Okay, I don't want to show this again. Close. Okay, here you can see unable to create the environment. This may be due to insufficient permission to create environment, whatever. Okay, whatever it is. Now the thing is, we can use this Amazon Q to summarize this one. Like, what's the issue? You might not be technically sound person, so it say unable to create the environment. This may due to insufficient permission something, or expand. We can expand and to understand that. Basically is trying to understand the error. You don't have some sufficient permission to diagnose the Amazon key. Even I don't have the permission as well. That means I'm basically here using dev 1 IAM user, right? So you can see just have the permission of Alexa for business and AWS IoT device, only just 2. So it can't access any other thing, any other services. So let's just add some permission, which is created in line 1. Create add permission, attach policy. Let's give it the administrator access. Okay, access. Okay, I believe mistakenly I have entered into the permission. Okay, yeah, added and add permission, done. So this day 1 profile now have the administrator access. Now if we just reload this one, okay, KPPC environment, KPPC private cloud, private VNC, you don't have that. See, virtual private cloud, we don't have any other, right? Okay, can we do that? We don't have any. We need to create one, right? Okay, let's just go for one other thing, that is just one. We're having this open in a tab, this one, KTPPC TMO virtual private cloud. We need to create one. Okay, let's go for this one, VPC. Okay, VPC, let's create one here. I will use that. Okay, VPC, send more, VPC only. Yes. Okay, what's the name? My VPC01. Okay. Okay, we need to provide some sort of address. Let's just add the default one. 16 between. Okay, I believe there is 1 0 missing. Great. Let's created the VPC. Now let's go for the CloudShell. Virtual private cloud, we've just created that. Sorry, CloudShell. Great. Great. Okay, we can zoom in a bit using this, or we can zoom here using this icon. Okay, large. You can do that now. So what are we basically using, right? When we were using this, basically using the command prompt as a whole, you can see if you just look into the version, AWS version, which was 2.33.4. Here you can see 2.33.2. Actually, the AWS CLI which we have installed is much more advanced than this one. Okay, so now the thing is, we can run the shell which we run in our local system. We can run that basically for free in our AWS account. We can do that. This is what we are doing. We have created a virtual private cloud. We need to do that, and in that private cloud or private network, we can then basically create this one. Okay, so that virtual private cloud was actually launched in this region, obviously, and then when we started this CloudShell, it started. Now whatever the command we had, we have seen earlier, we have used here, we can just use it here. AWS IAM list users, it was denied because the administrator access was not here, but here you can see the IAM list users is there. We can use that and we can get the IAM users list, right? AWS IAM list users. Great. So here you can see, as I have as the dev one user, I already have this IAM list user or administrator access. Basically that's why I can get access to it. And if I just remove this one from the admin ID, like obviously from the admin ID, if I want to remove this for the dev one profile, obviously I can remove that, and we will see that. We will just try to look into that. And now if I just want to look into AWS IAM list users, you can see access denied, exactly the same thing we had here. So it can work here properly. The benefits, there are a few benefits here, that is you can create a file here, you can then download that and so on, right? From here, if you from actions, you can see you can download file, you can restart this one, and if you just press this restart, what will happen? You can see yeah, session has been ended because no user interaction occurred. Reconnect. Okay, let's reconnect. Sorry. So yeah, we are facing some issues. So why this issue is happening, right? This issue is happening because obviously we have removed the access as an admin. That means that admin had all of the reasons or all of the access to this Amazon Q or the CloudShell and so on. So let's just add this one as well. Okay, administrator access. Let's just do that for this dev1 profile. Add permission. Now if we just reload this one, okay, okay, create VPC. So we have to look for the VPC because it was again that had some issue in this region. You can look for your VPCs. You can see, yeah, we already have the VPC. That's good, no problem with that. Now if you go for the AWS CLI, CloudShell. So it's okay. We also need to look for one thing, that is in which region we have this VPC, right? Your VPC. Okay, this one, yeah, no problem with that. Private cloud is within this AWS account. There's no problem. There should not be an issue with the region. Enabled status available DHP. Okay, this is this area. Okay, no problem. Okay, it's working because yeah, that actually when we remove the access of admin, it just lost all of the data. Okay, that was the issue. Let's just check some files. So we have two files. So these two files are something I created before recording the video just for the trial purpose. But if you want to try this with me, you can look for demo demo1.txt. okay, create one. So demo1.txt has been created. Let's just verify. Done, no problem with that. Let's just press this restart option. So so as I mentioned, like if you press the restart option, what will happen is the file will still remain. That's a very good benefit because sometimes it might happen, or you might ask, okay, what happens if the connection electricity is gone, right? This file is still there. So what you can do is after that you can download this file as well. So you can see if I come up here, okay, if I just press ls, all of these files are here. Also I can download the file. So I want to download the demo1.txt. sorry, download. I can download that within a actually folder. You can see preparing download. So yeah, it's getting downloaded. Yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video.